Next on Rugby Wrap-Up's MLR Weekly, New England Free Jacks General Manager Tom Kindley, Denver Onyx Scrum Half Carly Waters, John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning, Bryan Ray of America's Rugby News, and Rugby's Best Dang Recap. Rugby Wrap-Up's MLR Weekly brought to you by Sheehy Auto Stores. It's easy at Sheehy. The Pig and Whistle, New York City, the world's best rugby pub. And Lean and Limber, stretching your way to a healthier lifestyle.
There is a massive responsibility on the 23 that are privileged enough to step out on that field today.
Let's get it started with Rugby's Best Recap. In Seattle, neither of the two ornery Western Conference teams, Seattle nor LA, could afford a loss. Duncan Matthews took just 3 minutes to get the home team over the whitewash, and teammate Devalt Kotza put them up 14-zip. But Billy Meeks, the second best-looking bald guy in rugby, got LA in the mix, and they tied it up later. But LA once again had two players in the sin bin in the second half, and 7-star Malachi Esdale, which sounds like a Rolls-Royce edition, punished naughty Replica, that's RFC LA, with the try of the week. LA fought back and could have won at death if Pumas legend Gonzalo Bertrano, who allegedly made 107 passes, check that, made the conversion of Dom's try, but he didn't. Final score, a kissing your sister-esque 26-26. Over in the District of Columbia, that's D.C., numbnuts. Old Glory and Utah's Storm Week second side engaged in a sloppy match that should have been a blowout. But winning ugly is still winning, and D.C. needed this W badly. Credit the Mountain People's young guns making the second half uncomfortable for the home team behind Joel Blood and Guts Hodgson, who played fly half in 3 games in 8 days. He's a toughie. Old Glory behind Perry Humphreys and John Rizzo stay alive and their 3-game losing streak, and Utah's 5-0 run on the road 28-12. In Quincy, Massachusetts, wicked hot New England and the Houston SaberCats faced off in what many preseason types picked as the 2025 MLR Shield combatants. But that was then. This is now. The FJs starved the SaberCats of territory and bonus points and dominated the scoreboard, looking every bit the part of reigning champs. Houston continues to struggle without fly half Davey Kotzer, as the FJ's newest number 10, Pros Pro Dan Hollinshead, looked good. Final score 36-17 FJs. In the Windy City, Chicago's Hounds and Miami's Sharks were entangled in an old-time NFC East smash-mouth football contest, rugby style. Hookers started and finished this party with Kirby Your Enthusiasm Myhill, Miami's hooker, scoring the lone try of a physical first half. Luke White finally got Chi-Town on the board, and the butcher, Dylan Fawcett, the Hounds' hooker, finished the scoring in the 66th minute. Miami dropped to 5th place while Chicago stays 2 points behind New England, 14-7. Going back to Cali, San Diego was too beaten up, they said. San Diego was too tired, they said. Storm Week would benefit NOLA, they said. Jed Holloway's yellow card in the 40th minute would kill them, they said. They were wrong. The Streaky Legion won a track meet versus New Orleans for their second win in a row, 43-36. Woo! We could use a break. How about a coffee break? Rugby Morning's coffee break with John Fitzpatrick calling in from, is it D.C., John?
Yeah, Washington, D.C., as far as I know. Did they change the name?
Well, I know that, no, the rumors are circulating on the webs and all the other stuff that you're moving to the West Coast.
No comment.
That's a yes, because I know he's already sold his house and he's at his friend's house, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news here. All right, John, what do you got for us?
Well, the reason why I was in LA, because I was meeting with Super Rugby and World Rugby officials. Matt, did you hear this report that Super Rugby is considering adding an American-based team, maybe based in Los Angeles? Now, this is real here, man. Let's talk about this. World Rugby chairman Mark Robinson and CEO Alan Gilpin met with officials in Los Angeles. Matt, if you're MLR, are you concerned? Are you ticked off? Are you wondering what the heck's going on? You're pumping money in the anthem. Why are we talking Super Rugby now?
I don't think this has any real legs. I'm not against any rugby is good rugby as far as I'm concerned because I cover rugby for a living. But the reality of this taking place, I'd say there are two chances, slim and none, and slim's on the golf course. Cha.
Okay. Haters.
What, an American team, is it all American? And if it is, how much are they going to get destroyed by Super Rugby teams?
Well, pump brakes because
95
RCLA played Moana Pacifica in the preseason.
That was a preseason game, and it was an LA team that has international players on it. But from what I gather, they're talking about an American side, kind of like the Anthem in MLR, but just in Super Rugby. What am I missing here? And there are rumors that Anthem is up for sale and they have a serious buyer in the works. So it might coincide with the ownership from World Rugby stepping away and then stepping into the new thing. And maybe the new Anthem ownership doesn't have the same philosophy as the team owners now have so in that world, maybe it works, but an all-American side playing again in Super Rugby are going to lose by 1,000 points a match. Is that quality minutes? But I'd have to see, again, I don't have all the intel. I'd have to see the stuff before I make a rational decision. This is a bit irrational. I'm ranting. Thanks, John. You got me ranting. I'm warning. But next.
Yeah, hey, man, let's stick with MLR there. New England Free Jacks head coach Ryan Martin has a new gig. Don't worry, folks. He's still staying with New England. He's just been promoted from assistant head coach to head coach for the Northland Tenerife. I think I pronounced that correct.
Watch your mouth on this program.
The NPC plays in the MLR off season, but again, that's just, solidifying that NPC to MLR pipeline, at least there in New England. So they all have to be a Red Sox fan, I presume.
I can't believe aspects of a rugby calendar working together. Amazing. Next.
Hey, Matt, if you're not a cord cutter yet, you can watch an MLR match on ESPN2, not the Ocho or Plus, ESPN2. The first match on ESPN2 this weekend, San Diego versus Houston. Matt, you tuning in?
I got mixed feelings on this because ESPN Plus is behind a paywall, and isn't ESPN2 behind a paywall, and you already got people paying for ESPN Plus, right?
Well, if you already subscribe to ESPN, then you get the whole package, the whole shebang.
But if you different cable systems have different offers. So on my Spectrum cable, I don't get ESPN Plus or ESPN2.
You spend too much money to watch your crappy Mets. Closing segment, Matt. Here we go. 3 cheers. That's right. 3 cheers to the USA Women's Eagles. They set a new attendance record against Canada. They're in Kansas City. Shout out Kate Zachary and Lev Kelter. Great effort. Good to see such a strong attendance. Matt, what'd you think?
I think it's great. Perfect size stadium. That's what we should be copying. I know that we'll have a great event in D.C. on that weekend of July, 19th, 18th, 17th in that ballpark, because we'll have the tests there as well. And that'll be at Audi Stadium, and that should be sold out as well. So building on these good events, it's good to have something positive coming out of USA Rugby. And Alona Marr being part of it, she's starting to talk retirement because she's making some dough and she realizes she doesn't have to smash her head to bits to make it for peanuts. So let's capitalize on her still being here and all of that and use it to grow the game, despite what's happening on the 7th Circuit. That's a whole different show. All right, John, I got to let you go, but one quick final thought if you have one.
Yeah, Matt.
I didn't think so. Thanks to John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning and his coffee break. We'll be right back after this.
Digs like a demented mole there.
Need a great price on a new vehicle? Sheehy makes it easy. Easy Price shows you our lowest prices on the Mid-Atlantic's largest selection. Find your best price online or at any of our 31 dealerships.
It's easy at Sheehy. Sheehy.com.
If you're in New York City and want to watch some great rugby, have some great food, and some great times, go to the world's best rugby pub, the Pig and Whistle on West 36th Street.
How you doing? I'm Jim Hamilton. I'm at the Pig and Whistle. I'm at the famous Pig and Whistle. Look, I've got my rucksack on. I'm a well-known man around the world as one of the best rugby players to have ever played the game. No, I'm not. It's a lie. But we've got Paul O'Connell's montage on the wall. I've heard a lot about this place, and I'm here. Make sure, though, that you come here, but you also tune in to Rugby Wrap Up.
And we are back with Mr. Tom Kindley, not Tom Kindley. Is that right, Tom?
That's correct, Matt. Thank you very much.
The general manager of the New England Free Jacks. Welcome back to MLR Weekly.
Thanks for clearing that up, mate. I'm excited to be back on. I've got a bone to pick with you. Bryan Ray wasn't on last week, and I was devastated. I was looking forward to it all week, as I always do, and there was no Bryan Ray to be seen. So,
well, he's one of those fickle Canadians. You know, he's from Nova Scotia. But no, in all seriousness, he had his day job take precedent. Shocking, right? Where he was covering that thing called the Canadian election for the station that he works at. So he had, because you'd have to use a crowbar and a SWAT team normally to keep him from coming on, but he couldn't find the time. So anyway, enough about Bryan Ray. Let's talk about you. There's one question, an awkward question I got to get out of the way first. Is David Barry the best owner in Major League Rugby?
Well, he's a really he's an awesome man. He's a great guy to have part of our group. He really cares. I have a chat with him probably once a month about the rugby, and he's well versed in it. So no, he's one of the best, that's for sure.
Oh, he asked me to ask you that question. That was why I asked that question. Anyway, you're gunning for a three-peat, and it's amazing because after a sluggish start, you guys are red hot. You're on the top of your conference. You've beaten the best teams in the West. Yet you've done it without key players at key times because of injury. How does this happen?
Oh, mate, we've got a group with a lot. There's definitely a lot of depth within the group. So I think we've been able to lean on that depth, and it's actually been a real strength of ours because when guys come back and they get an opportunity, they're healthy and they're fresh and they're raring to go and they want to keep their spot. So that's definitely been a part of it. I think our coaching group's been excellent, and we focus so much on not the rugby. People are probably bored of us saying that, but we honestly do. We focus on our environment and our people so much that the rugby really does come second, and I think that does help our on-field product and the willingness of guys to, put their bodies on the line.
Yeah, that's one answer, but you're the guy charged with the duties of finding players. And you just keep finding players that are quality players that step in, and you don't miss a beat. And I'm just like, I'm watching this, and it seems like you're the best at it in the league. And if you were teaching GM 101, what would you say the secret is?
Thanks for saying that. Mate, I think it's about getting guys that are coming for the right reasons. And I think you look at so many of our guys like Wayne Vanderbank and Vian Conradi from the African continent. And then you've got guys like Simon Peter Toliafoa, Jed Melvin, Joe Johnston. Like, they're all really they're team first characters coming for the right reasons, really ambitious, aspirational players. And that's been our point of difference, is finding those guys that are on the younger side and looking to stamp their mark. And perhaps you've seen guys like Mil Sanarivi and Samisi Paya kick on to Super Rugby settings after our team environment. And I think that's our little niche at the moment. So we've been good at finding those sorts of players, and then layer in some great Americans, Canadians like your Geigers and your Andrew Quatrins and Ben Lesages, and it just has amalgamated into something quite beautiful and really powerful when it all comes together.
Well, you've assembled one of the best, arguably the best back row contingent in the league.
Yeah, I think in this competition, Matt, there's the skill level is not super high, and particularly as teams get injuries and their formations change throughout the season. And if you've got strong tacklers and tenacious physical back row forwards like those boys are, like you're saying, we can win a lot of turnover ball, you can win a lot of possession, and you can chase kicks. And we've definitely built a bit of our game model and identity around that.
You've beaten the best teams in the West. You've made your way to the top of the East. Is there anything that can derail these Free Jacks? Is there something that you're worried about that you need to improve in the franchise?
I think for us, it's just keeping our group really fresh and healthy and making sure that we really prioritize the week ahead every single week.
Are you a fan of the automatic 7 and some of the tweaks that have gone that the MLR has done around the scrum and the spacing for the number 9? What are your thoughts on those things?
Yeah, so I guess they're looking to speed the game up and perhaps like the maul being made unplayable, turning into a free kick now. I think you've seen some of those things actually be okay for the competition and speed up the game and get the ball back into play really quickly. So I haven't minded some of the innovation around that stuff.
How much is it going to suck having to play in a third championship in Providence, Rhode Island, in a brand new stadium?
I mean, it would be amazing. If we got there, it would be a real dream come true. I think regardless of whether we do or not for our fans, it's an opportunity for them to activate in New England and for an awesome massive rugby day out in New England, which is great.
All right, Tom Kindley, thank you for being so kind and gracious and coming on MLR Weekly.
Thanks, Matt, for all you continue to do. We really appreciate it here at the Free Jacks, and love watching the show. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And we'll be right back after this. Don't go away. And now for the Major League Rugby Play of the Week, brought to you by the Rugby Network. At Starfire Stadium in Seattle with 2 LA players in the sin bin, the Seawolves used a team effort to get the ball in the hands of electric former USA Rugby 7 star Malachi Esdale, who shrugged off multiple LA defenders for a crucial, eye-opening try in a critical Western Conference match. And that is your Major League Rugby Play of the Week, brought to you by the Rugby Network.
I wouldn't like to be at the bottom of that.
You need your cleats? You need them tomorrow? If you order today by 3 p.m. New York time or noon LA time, they can have them to you tomorrow. Young, old, male, female, if you're playing on turf, if you're playing on grass, if you're playing in the rain, you're playing in the heat, they've got you covered. RugbyNow.com. Go there now. Here's your TRO, the Rugby Odds MLR Picks of the Week via WWE Hall of Famer turned rugby advocate John Bradshaw Layfield, legendary USA Olympic Sevens coach Mike Friday, and King Gipte Belu, inventor of words.
Well, hopefully the special kind of stupid person that's scheduling the MLR schedule is not going to have Utah playing a game in the middle of the week next week, and they're actually going to be at home next week and rested. Give me Utah at home, -5.
Bounce back game, NOLA covering against Miami at home. Let's go.
My boys in New England, Jed Melvin and his crew, they're going to get it done. They're going to cover the 5 and beat Chicago.
And hey, be sure to check out the Rugby Odds, the critically acclaimed sports entertainment show featuring big-name talent, exclusive highlights, insightful opinions, and irreverent, if not downright naughty, behavior. And we're back with Denver Onyx star of the WER, Carly Waters. Carly, welcome to MLR Weekly.
Thanks for having me, Matt. I'm excited to be here.
Well, right off the bat, you have the coolest hat to ever be worn on this program.
Thank you. We have some incredible fans here. We do go by the Pink Pony Club, so somebody did make this for me.
Oh, I would like one of those hats. I'll tell you what.
I can bring one to New York if you're going to come to our game.
All right, I will. And I'm going to rock that hat. Rock that hat. So that's one way you've made history already. Another way you've made history is your teammate Rachel Ericke was the first ever WER player to be interviewed on MLR Weekly, but you're the first scrum half. So history just keeps being made here.
There we go. I'm about it.
Boom. It's all about it. But let's tell people who you are, because you have a very impressive resume. And we'll get back to why you started playing rugby, I think back in 2010 in high school as a fullback, and then you transitioned to scrum half in 2014. But here's the rest of your resume. I think your hometown is Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Correct me at any point that I'm wrong. Obviously, you're now playing scrum half. Previous rugby experience, Downingtown Rugby Football Club, the Penn State University, where you won 3 15s championships and 1 in 7s. The coolest rugby club on the face of the earth, New York Rugby Club, that we are co-members of for life. Colorado Grey Wolves, in which you won another national championship. The Glendale Merlins, which I think were the Grey Wolves or some iteration, right? Something kind.
We've had multiple identities. So
all right, and then some very cool stuff overseas: Saracens and the Sales Sharks. So, how do you make this work? I mean, you're not getting paid millions of dollars. Do you have a trust fund, or do you have a job that travels? Because you all basically have day jobs too. How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say I'm a scrum half for a reason. I have no problem hustling. I did have my corporate job up until moving to England. So that was great and remote and allowed me to really focus on rugby and then come back and grind through work.
And that was 2021?
That was 2018 to 21. Yeah.
2018 to 2021.
Yeah. So I was a good corporate girly for 3 years.
No, but when you went to Saracens.
Yes. Yeah. I went to Saracens in 2021, August of 21.
So you gave up the corporate gig to pursue the dream of overseas, right?
Yes. Yeah. And then when I came back, it was doing what I can when I can. So now I'm lucky that I have a few jobs. So I work for 8x8 Sports doing rugby kit. I work for Collegiate Rugby Association of America doing commentary, ground ups. Whenever we have an event, I'm on site, corporate sponsors. And then I'm a part-time chef in Denver as well.
And Carly, you're also an innovator. You're doing some great stuff in rugby. It's mind-numbing with these Pokemon cards. Tell me.
Yeah, I was tasked with community engagement within Denver. I just thought it'd be pretty punny since we're the Onyx. Player cards, and then each week I take 6 action shots from that, and they have moves. It's really wonderful. Kids come by them. They come on the field, engage with us. They have a personal fact in the corner. For example, Tana, our 18-year-old, the amount of little girls running around being like,
oh my God,
we can be like Tana. Like, they are seeing it. They are believing it. They have her signature. They're able to come engage with her. It's been really enlightening. But
this is
it's
awesome.
been great. Yeah.
Awesome. This is you're dynamite. You're dynamite.
Thank you.
You've also had a good run with the women's national team. You made your debut for Team USA versus the Black Ferns in Chicago and the 2022 World Cup. It's been a life, Carly. It's been a life.
I've lived some really wonderful rugby adventures. Yeah.
All right. So that begs the question. Are you still looking to be on Team USA and the Eagles? Is that fire still burning?
I mean, why not? I'm still out here competing every week. So.
Well, you're living the life of Riley, and I am so jealous. Your resume is just like pressure. So where and what is life after rugby?
Probably Colorado for now. I don't really have anything tying me or pressing me elsewhere.
New York.
My mom did ask me the other day. She said, "So are you planning to move back home this summer like your brother?"
To Downington, Mom?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not much of a city girl, but I will say, like, growing up in Downingtown, I grew up going to the Jersey Shore, and I'm still a beach girl at my core, but I do love the accessibility that is Colorado, and I have a really wonderful community here.
Not to the ocean.
No, but I have a paddleboard.
Last time I looked, so. I don't know. I don't see any beaches. I don't see the Pacific or the Gulf of America.
No, I don't disagree, but it fills my cup enough that I'm not too worried, and I get to go to Florida often enough that it's okay. Thank you.
But anyway, it's been a pleasure, Carly. Thanks for
having me, Matt.
And we're back once again, welcoming in Mr. Bryan Ray of America's Rugby News /Ray's Rugby. Bryan, welcome back to MLR Weekly. How are you?
Doing all right, Matt. Doing all right. It's been lots of rugby to catch up on since last week's absenteeism.
All right, so let's test your acumen. Let's test your clairvoyant ability, Bryan, and let's give you some spreads here from the rugby odds to pick the upcoming matches. NOLA at home -4 versus Miami.
Yeah, a little bit of a tough one. I think Miami's really starting to hit their stride a little. They look like a better team. I think they gave Chicago a good run. I think Miami was actually unfortunate, bit of a pedantic call from the TMO early in that one. Maybe would have been a closer game in the end. It was only one score. It could have been a draw. And Shane O'Leary, sounds like he's going to be fit for this one. Manuel Ardau, I think he'll be back in for this one. That's a big boost. So, you know what? I'm going to go with the Sharks in this one. I think this is going to be a tough game, but I'll go with the Sharks by 5.
Okay. All right. New England at home, -5. Red hot New England with your red hot hat on versus Chicago.
Chicago didn't look super sharp at home, and their captain, Lucas Rumble, looked like he, maybe sprained an ankle or something in that one. He came off early, so I think he'll be missing anyways. I just think New England is really humming right now. They're outstanding at the moment. They are clearly the class, I think, of the field, so got to go to the Free Jacks, and I think it'll be by more than that. I think I'll go with New England by about 10 points in this one.
San Diego at home versus Houston, but Houston favored by 3 points, road favorites.
San Diego just, I don't know. They're just missing a bit of spark. Maybe, John Manenti's been kind of commenting they may be short on confidence or something, and it kind of showed against that, not the strongest NOLA side. We're still looking for a little bit more from San Diego, and Houston I think are getting Davey Kutzer back for this one, which is a huge boost for them. So I'll take Houston.
And then LA, the team that is really snake bitten this season. I mean, they have played more close matches without any results really to speak of. But now they're hosting the Anthem. -11 is the spread in favor of Los Angeles. What do you make of that one?
Yeah, it sounds about right. Maybe a little bit more. I think, the way that LA likes to play, they can probably find some holes in that Anthem defense. We'll see. Maybe Anthem can make a game. Certainly, they'll want to target this kind of a game, but I think LA probably gets through this fairly easy by a couple scores.
And then the final game of the weekend, Utah, -5, hosting Seattle. But Utah should be well rested because they played that B team for the most part versus DC. What do you make of this one?
Yeah, I have big concerns for Seattle. JP Smith going off injured early in that game against LA. And then Brock Gallagher, the second choice scrum half, went off with an HIA. So I'm not sure that either one of them are going to be fit for that. And that's a major problem because Seattle doesn't really have another scrum half. They got Reese Jones, but he's like a converted fly half. He was playing 10 in college. So, yeah, big concerns for me. Maybe they could find Devereaux Ferris or somebody, on short notice to come in. But I think Seattle's going to struggle in this one against, as you said, a rested and ready to go Utah side. I just think that they'll win this one by a couple scores.
Matt Turner, the former 7-star turned Seattle star, is still up in Seattle. Maybe they get him. He played a little scrum half in the 7s series, so get him in there. Come on, Turner.
Get him, get Andrew Giartalo, get a couple of the old boys in there, throw the coach, Nessie Malifa, why not?
Emma Manoa, come on.
Let's do it.
Get some of the band back together.
Seattle old-timers.
All right, Brian, we got to stop there. Thank you to Mr. Bryan Ray of America's Rugby News. Thank you to John Fitzpatrick of Rugby Morning. Thank you to Tom Kindley of the New England Free Jacks. And thank you to Carly Waters of the Denver Onyx. And last but not least, thank you for tuning in. Please check out the critically acclaimed and fun The Rugby Odds. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Please sign up for our weekly newsletter. And if you can, join our American Red Cross blood donor team.